So guys, we are back with yet another video on C++ programming tutorials, data structures and algorithms course. So in the previous video we saw sum of first n natural numbers program, okay, and I told you that in the next video I'll tell you about sum of n natural numbers program. That is not first n natural numbers, we can also calculate the sum of n natural numbers starting from somewhere in between. Okay, let's say I ask you to calculate not the sum of 1 to 10, I ask you to calculate the sum of 5 to 10. Okay, so how will you be able to do that? How will you be able to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers from between? Okay, so now I'm directly writing the for loop. Okay, so in the previous code you were writing for loop something like this: for I equals 1, I less than equals 10, I plus plus, you you wrote here sum equals sum plus I. Let me erase it. You wrote here sum equals sum plus I. Okay guys, so you wrote this thing, and outside the loop you wrote C out sum. Why you wrote outside I told you in the previous video. Now we will declare a variable start and a variable finish. Okay, start variable will be the variable from where we have to start. Like in the previous case my start was 1, but here start will have some value which the user is going to give me, and let's say finish or f, anything. Okay, so I consider it to be f for simplicity right now. So I'll write the same code, sum equals sum plus I, and you know the logic behind it. You already know the logic behind it. Why you already know the logic behind it? Because you saw it in the previous program. Okay, but let's reconsider it. Let's understand it again in great depth, that what actually are we talking about here. So let's consider I s, and the updated sum s is equal to s plus I. Now what will be the value of I? It will be, let's say I start I want to calculate the sum of 5 to 8, so the start value will be 5 and finish value will be 8. Okay, so I will start from 5, s is equals 0, and s is equal to s plus I means that now the updated value will be 5. Now 6 becomes the value of I, and we do it. Okay, so you know this, I told you it in the previous video, that what are we doing? We are basically updating the value and changing the value of s. Now finally what will happen is that I comes to 8. Okay, I comes to the value of 8, and some value is 18 right now. So if you sum them, you will get 26 as the answer. Okay, you get 26. Now the loop will stop. Why? Because I has become equal to the finish value, f value, or the finish value, which is 8. So we will move outside the loop. Now outside the loop we wrote this statement, C out sum. So whatever the last value was stored in sum will be printed, and the last value stored in sum was 26, so 26 will be printed. Okay, now let's check if this 26 answer is mathematically correct or not. So 5 plus 6 plus 7 plus 8 we need to do. Okay, so it's quite easy. 6 plus 5 is 11, and we add 7 to it, it's 18, and 18 and 8 is 26. So yeah, we are correct in this thing. Okay, so now let's see it in the code, that what actually is happening. Okay, so let's move to the code. Okay, so guys, let's begin with our code, and let me save this file. Sum of n numbers 1.cpp. okay, so I have changed the name a little bit from the previous one, and I'll save it. Okay, so now what do we want to do is, guys, we don't want to calculate the sum of first n natural numbers. As I told you, we want to calculate the sum of n natural numbers basically. So hash include IO_, So this is the basic syntax. Now what am I going to do is I'll have a starting point, so int start, okay, and end or finish. Okay, I'll have a starting point and a finish point or an ending point basically. So cout, enter the number from where you want to find the sum. Okay, and I'll see in start. Is that okay? Now I'll write enter the number up to which you want to find the sum. First of all, let me correct it. See, up to is actually correct, but I guess it has to be this in, this programming language. Yep, so, and I'll see in the value of finish. Now the loop will change here. See, since we were calculating in the earlier program the sum of n natural numbers, the first n natural numbers, so we started it from 1. Now we want to calculate it from some number to the other number. Okay, so I am starting I value with start, and this is the number from where we want to start, and less than equal to finish, that's the number at which, let's say I want to calculate the sum from 5 to 10. Okay, so 5 and 10 both will be included and the sum will be calculated. Okay, the sum will be calculated. So yeah, I plus plus, it's like that. So for this, what I want to do is sum equal sum plus I, and obviously here in the int I also have to declare this variable sum equal to 0, and after this loop I'll write cout sum return 0. So this is pretty much of it, guys. Now let's try to build and run this code. You might use the shortcut keys for build and run purposes. I am not using shortcut keys for a reason, guys. Oh, sorry. Because see, I have this recorder also on in the video, which is recording my screen. So the shortcut keys for running and building match for some purposes in the recorder, so it will disturb my video. That's why. Otherwise, it is the best practice to use the shortcut keys for compilation of the programs and running of the programs. Okay, so yep, we come to this, and why is it showing me something like this? Wait, guys, there is some error, I guess. I have C in the start value, so why it is not displaying me to C in that value? Yeah, now it is coming. So enter the number from where you want to find the sum. I enter, let's say 6 and up till 10. So what the answer should be? I guess answer should be 45 or 40. Yeah, 40. So 40 is the answer, guys. So how is it 40? Let's check. 6 plus 5, it's 11. Okay, what? 6 plus 7. Okay, so 6 plus 7, what is 6 plus 7, guys? It is 13. Okay, now add 8 to 13, it becomes 21. Okay, and now add 9, it becomes 30, and add 10, it becomes 40. Okay, so yeah, it is 40. So you can see the answer is coming to be correct. If I print the sum from 5 to 10, I guess it will be 45. So 5 and 10, so now it will be 45. So guys, my program is running successfully, and now this is quite an easy thing. Okay, now I guess you understood that how you can do this thing. Okay, all right, so this was it. Now let's move to the main thing which we have to do. Alright guys, so the main focus of this video was around this question which we have been procrastinating from a long time, the factorial question. So now we are going to do this famous question. Now it will sound crazy but it's very basic. Okay, let's start. So first let's understand what is the factorial of any number. It's represented as 5 and exclamation mark. This is 5 factorial. It is 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. So if I do it for any number n, then it will be n factorial is n times n minus 1 times n minus 2 up till we go to 3 into 2 into 1. So yeah, this is going to be the factorial of any number, and 1 is the ending point here, guys. Okay, now since n is any number here, we can also write this thing as n multiplication of n times multiplication of all the numbers less than it, that is less than n, and up till 1. Okay, so what is factorial? It is n times the multiplication of all the numbers, n into multiplication of all the numbers which is less than n, and we go up till 1. Now see, if I write 5 factorial, it is written as it is, and if I write 4 factorial, what will be 4 factorial? See, 5 factorial, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. 4 factorial is 4 times 3 times 2 times 1. If we compare these two, we can write 5 factorial as 5 times 4 factorial. Guys, this is very important. Okay, this is very important to understand mathematically also, and programmatically also, because yep, we are up for something good. Okay, so we'll be doing this. Yeah, so this thing, that fact if of n, okay, that is factorial of any number, is equal to n times the factorial of fact of number minus 1, that is 5. The factorial of 5 is 5 times 4 factorial of 4. Okay, so this is very important. If I will implement this concept in programming, it will be called as recursion. Okay, I'll be using recursion to do this. Okay, now recursion is studied when we study all about the functions and all in the C++. So it is going to be a later topic, quite later topic. Okay, we are going to study it very later stages of our C++, but yeah, it is a hell lot of an important topic. Okay, but now let's consider loops. Okay, let's consider our for loop, and let's see that what syntax or what basically is going to be the program for loop. Now we just wrote a program in which we wrote sum equals sum plus I. Something similar is going to happen here also. Okay, so now let's start with our for loop. So the loop will start from n. Why? Because we have to start from number, and we have to go until the answer is 1. So I equals n and I greater than equals to 1. So what have we created? We have created something like this: a starting point and an ending point. Starting point is 5, ending point is 1, by writing this much of the statement. Now obviously we'll write I minus here. This is important, guys. We have to decrement the value of I. We don't have to increment it, we don't have to increase it, we have to decrease the value of I. Okay, one thing which you can do is write this loop again in the opposite order also. Okay, see, 5 times 4 times 3 times 2 times 1 is equal to 1 times 2 times 3 times 4 times 5. So you can write this loop also as I equals 1, I less than equal n, I plus plus. That would be correct. Now what are we going to write here? We are going to write here fact equal to fact star I. This statement, we had starting point 5, ending point 1, and this statement, what it does is it places all the numbers in between it. This is the statement which is doing that task for us, placing all the numbers between it, that is 4 and 3 and 2 and 1. This is the statement which is going to do, and see out fact. Now one important thing, we have initialized the value of fact to be 1. We in the earlier program initialized sum to be 0. Here we have already initialized fact to be 1. You will see it in the program. Now let's get started with our tabular thing, where we actually see that how this is working. So let's consider I want to calculate the factorial of 5. So 5 will be the starting point, fact value is 1 initially. So you know that initially what is the value of fact? I told you that we have initialized the fact value to 1, and when we will apply the formula of fact is equal to fact multiplied by I, fact is equal to fact multiplied by I, then we will get the updated value of factorial. Okay, so we are going to place that value every time the loop goes. Okay, so let's see, updated fact is fact equal to fact star I, we know this. Okay, now let's start with our thing. So I place it to be 5 because I, let's say, want to calculate the factorial of 5. Fact is initialized to 1. So when you do fact into I, then 5 into 1, we will multiply them, answer is 5, and I'll store it in the fact value. Now this fact value is stored here. I becomes 4 because it is decrementing, we'll multiply them, answer becomes 20. Okay, answer becomes 20, and this 20 is now stored in factorial value. Now we again store 20 here, value of I decreases, becomes 3, we multiply them, and 60 is the answer. Now what are we going to do further? The value, see, 3 is also greater than equal to 1, so loop will keep on going until it reaches 1, I reaches 1. Okay, so now the value 60 will be printed here. Okay, let me erase it, it's not looking good. Yeah, so the value 60 will be placed here, and I has decremented again, I value has become 2, we'll multiply them, answer becomes 120, we store this again in the fact, and finally I has become 1, fact is 120, we multiply them, 120 is the answer. Now see, the loop stops, because I value has become equal to 1. Condition was I greater than equal to 1, I has become equal to 1, the loop will stop. After the loop has ended, what was the statement? See out fact. So what was the last value stored in fact? It was 120. So 120 gets printed. Okay, 120 gets printed. Now if we check it mathematically also, if we check this thing mathematically also, 5 4s are 20, and wait, let me make it quite easier for you. Let me erase this thing. Now see, so 5 4s are 20, and 20 into 3 is 60, and 60 into 2 is 120, and 120 into 1 is obviously 120. So guys, this is it. Okay, this is it. Yeah, so that was it. 120 is the correct answer mathematically also, we are getting it programmatically also. So now let's move to the code again, and in the code I'll also show you that what is the importance of I++ and I-. Okay, so let's move to the code. So guys, I have already saved this by the name of fact.cpp, and now let's start to code. Okay, so this is the basic C++ syntax. Now we'll write int fact equal to 1 n. So cout, enter the number whose factorial you want to find. Yep. So guys, this is quite similar to the program which we wrote in the previous video for calculating the sum of n natural numbers, or even in this video we wrote this program for calculating the sum of n natural numbers from some point to some point. We did this, so it is quite similar to it. We were initializing a variable. You can compare it, like here we initialized the variable sum equal to 0, we had start and finish. Here we have start as n, finish as 1, and we have initialized a variable fact equal to 1. And obviously on the digital blackboard I have already explained you this program, so we are just coding here. Okay, so I hope you got what all I taught you on the digital blackboard. So now let's just try to run this code and see what happens. So I want the factorial of 5 and I want the answer to be 120 because the factorial of 5 is 120. It is returning me 120. Okay, shall I do it again one more time? Okay, I'll just test it for 7. Answer should be 5040. Yup, answer is 5040. So guys, this is pretty much of it in this video. Yeah, I want to, okay, before ending this video, I want to show that the answer will be same if we reverse the loop also. Remember to, reverse this condition also. Instead of decrementing the operator, you have to increment here. Okay, then it will be correct. Otherwise, it will be wrong. How it will be wrong, I'll show you now only. Okay, so now 5. This is a big number. 5 factorial. Why is it coming out to be 1? Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry guys, it is less than equal to n. Yeah. Now let's build and run it. So it comes out to be 120. Okay. Remember this guys, if you don't increment this, if you keep it decrementing and you write the loop like this, then what will happen? Let me show you what will happen. I'm waiting for this to build and run. It takes some time. It's not actually the fault of code blocks, it's the fault of machine you are using, like in my case my laptop. So it's quite slow, that's why it is happening. Okay, so I enter 5 and you can see nothing is getting printed. Why? Let me show you. Because what happens is that this loop is actually running infinitely. Okay, this loop is actually running infinitely. Now how do I know this loop is actually running infinitely? Let me show you. Let's say I delete all this. Okay, I don't want factorial or something like that. I less than n, and let's just delete this fact thing from here and delete it from here. Let's make some other program, int n. Okay, and let's say I want to print it n times. I want to print, let's say something, let's say I want to print the star symbol n times. Okay, now if I build and run this code, you will see yourself that what is going to happen. Just wait for it. I know guys, this is irritating. So if I enter 5, you see the star keeps on printing because it has gone into an infinite loop. Okay, so you need to remember that. Now if you do this and you build and run it, just wait for it to build and run guys. Okay, now see now what will happen. It's printing 6 stars. Okay, so yeah, it is important that you keep that in mind. Okay, so now let me just bring the original code back. So this was the original code, if you want to take a screenshot or whatever. So guys, please like, share and subscribe the channel, and yeah, please give me your valuable feedbacks in the comment section. If you are not able to understand anything, please free feel to ask me. Okay, I'll message you or whatever. I'll try to clear all your doubts. Okay, so free feel to ask and give any suggestions if you want to. Okay, if you want me to make videos in Hindi as well as in English, so if you guys will give me suggestion, then I will definitely do it for you. Okay, I'll make the videos in Hindi as well. Basically I'll use both the languages, but if it is okay for you to understand entire thing in English, then I'll continue being in English.